Good evening. Welcome to Love Talk. I'm Gregory Morgan, and I'm happy to be here with you. It's really a pleasure and an honor for me to be with you and to contribute to your life in whatever way that I can. The whole purpose of Love Talk is to have a conversation, and preferably a dialogue instead of a lecture or a monologue, about what's working in relationships, what works and what doesn't work, in both in your relationships, but in your life in general. How we know who we are is not so much by the diplomas that we have or the titles that we have or how much money we have, and everybody knows that, but yet we describe ourselves as being, I am a doctor, or I am a engineer, or I am a spiritual person, or I am a mother or a father, or I am a businessman. So we say I am, and then we follow it with some title or description. And then without looking, without noticing, we begin to relate to ourselves as if we are that thing, that measurable thing, that thing which has a title, that has a beginning and a middle and an end, and that is measurable in time and space. You see, there was a time you weren't an engineer or a doctor or a mother or a father or a businessman. There's a time when you are, and there will be a time when you are not that. That's what I mean by something that is measurable in time and space. You are not measurable in time or space. You have an existence in time and space, and you have a name. And there is a time when you are here, there's a time before you are here, and there's a time when you will not be here. And there is a place where you are, and then there's an infinite amount of spaces where you are not. And so this is what I mean by measurable in time and space. Who you are is much bigger than that, much grander than that, far more powerful than any title or word or name that you could give yourself. And so the purpose of Love Talk is to begin to explore those limitations that we've put on ourselves, to explore the titles and the names that we've called ourselves and that others have called us. I've been called a lot of names, and I prefer Gregory or Mr. Morgan, depending on how well I know you. But, you can be called a lot of things in your life. So we have this name, and we have this place, and we have this title, which we assume for a time, we assume at a different place in our life. Each of these are to serve a purpose. Each of these are to fulfill something that is beyond space and beyond time and beyond your personal little identity, beyond your wants and needs and desires and all of the things that you say that you wish you could be or want to be. And yet each of these identities that we assume for ourselves are connected with others, and how we know ourselves, how we truly come to know ourselves is, and I'm not saying this is the only way, okay? So when I say how we do that, I'm not saying this is the only way. I'm talking about the purpose of Love Talk and the purpose of this show, and therefore the purpose of Embrace Growth, which is the company that I've founded with my wife, Dr. Azita Sayan, in which we teach. Embrace Growth is here to teach certain principles, and they're founded upon one single principle, and that is love. Love and respect and dignity and nobility and honor. These are all reflections of the highest expression of human spirit that we have come up with. Those principles tend to be condensed into one word that could mean all of those things, and we call it love. So I talk about love as a way of speaking to that in you which is the most noble, the most high, the most fulfilling, the most rewarding and satisfying part of yourself. And that part of yourself which desires to make a difference in the world. That's what Love Talk's about. That's what this show's about, and that's what really the Honor, Integrity, and Mastery workshops, the workshops that we do for women called the Women Only workshops, the workshops that we do for teenagers called YES, or Youth Education workshops. We have leadership programs and coaching programs called The Hero's Journey, and a woman's program, that's a 6-month program called Lovable and Adorable. All of these programs are to assist you and facilitate you getting your work done, getting your transformation accomplished, and transformation itself, it takes place in an instant. People think, oh, it's a long, hard road, and it's a lot of difficult learning and working, and it takes years. And the truth is, when your transformation occurs, you look back at all of the things that you've done, positive and negative, good, bad, ugly, or beautiful in your life, and you realize that they've just been a pathway, and that all along your transformation was available at any moment. When you actually get who you are, when you actually get your transformation, you realize that could have happened at any time. In fact, that it's been happening all along. It's like this treasure that's carried within you that you don't even know you have, or you may suspect that you have. You may have read books or had teachers or wise people point in the direction of this treasure that's within you. Yet you don't discover it. You somehow can't find it. Yes? And so the whole purpose of all of the workshops and the work we do at Embrace Growth is to help you, to put you in situations where you are forced to discover it. Many people don't transform themselves until they are forced to. Now, I don't like to use that word forced because it has a lot of negative connotations to it. But by being forced, I mean that sometimes we are forced into finding out who we are because of, let's say, the death of a loved one, or because we lost a job, or because we lost a marriage, or because we lost a fortune. Often, transformation is preceded by some form of loss, okay? Now, I've come to realize that it doesn't have to be that way at all. You do not have to experience some huge devastation in your life that forces you into transforming yourself and get it. And when I say transforming yourself, I mean the true word of education. The true word of education, to educate, means to take out from within. To pull out from what is already within is to educate, all right? So many people have learned a different model. It's a model of having information and data and wisdom and things forced into your mind, so that you're forced to write down things and memorize things and study things and work really, really hard to try to retain knowledge. And what you end up with is a whole big stack of knowledge, most of which will do you no good whatsoever. It may help you get a job, or it may help you manage your finances and things like that. And so, of course, those things are very valuable. However, true education is about reaching inside yourself and discovering unseen resources. To find resources within oneself and to bring those resources from up to the surface. In other words, to enlighten, it means to bring out from the darkness and into the light, yes? To bring from the darkness of the subconscious or the lack of consciousness, the unconscious, to bring from the darkness of the unconscious into the light of the consciousness. The word Homo sapien means the awake ones, or the wise ones, the knowers. Sapien means knower. We are the species that knows itself. And yet, how many people do you know that actually know who they really are? Who actually are fully conscious of the impact that they have in the world and their purpose in life, and that are consciously living that purpose from one moment to the next. In other words, when you see them, when you meet them, you are also meeting a force to be dealt with. A person who is on purpose is a person that is extremely charismatic, energetic, full of life. They usually have a great sense of humor, and sometimes they have very little patience with people who are asleep or who are negative. They want to wake people up. When you're awake, it's natural to want to wake up others, to participate with you. When you discover your transformation, when you, in other words, bring out from within that which was within you, you become alive. You become, your health suddenly gets better. And people will tell you that you get younger and younger, or that you don't age. People will tell you that they have a hard time keeping up with you sometimes, or they will find you extremely energetic and alive and engaging, and the challenges that most people face will be like nothing for you. Okay, and the challenges that you've been facing, more importantly, the things that have held you back, that have hindered you in your life, the things that have kept you from moving forward, that have put a damper on your dreams so that you don't even dare to dream big and to imagine a fantastic life for yourself and then take action to create that life. Those things that you've allowed to hold you back, when you pull out from within you the resources that are there, when you educate yourself, you will experience a transformation in which those things that used to loom large ahead of you now seem small and insignificant below you or behind you. They will just seem like the challenges that you went through at the time. You won't have any drama about it. You won't have any sadness about it. You'll just realize that that's how it is. In fact, you may even be grateful for the difficult things that you've experienced in your life. I can say from my own experience that's true for me. Now, at the time, I experienced traumatizing and really tough, horrible, difficult things in my life. At the time, like most people, I was sad, upset, disappointed, had no hope for the future, depressed, all of the things that anybody would experience when they've had a series of bad experiences. Those experiences forced me to find resources within myself, and without them, I don't know how I ever would have done that. You know, most people today live on such a comfortable level. In other words, your food, clothing, shelter, cell phone, television, car, insurance, health plan, all of those things are completely taken care of. Somehow or another, those things are okay. You're not worried about where you're going to get some food or where you're going to sleep tonight, or you don't have any kind of challenging circumstances. Maybe you can't get along in your relationships. Maybe your kids hate you, or maybe you hate your kids, or maybe your husband's cheating on you, or your wife, or maybe any number of things that are extremely challenging. And I promise you, I've had all of those things. I look back upon them now, and I see that they were the perfect thing to happen. And not only that, I was the source of each one of them. I wasn't a victim in any case. Every time it appeared that somebody else did something to me and I was their victim, upon honest examination, in other words, pulling out from within myself what I already knew, I was able to see that I either knew that that was going to happen, or they signaled in some way that something was off and that I should be more careful or less trusting or something. But there was always something that I either stepped over, ignored, or pretended wasn't there in order to get something I wanted for myself, or even if that something was just to feel comfortable and less threatened and to enjoy the moment and not deal with a challenge that I saw in front of me. So take a look in your own life. Where have you seen little red flags, seen little signs that if you were really honest with yourself, you kind of know, or you maybe in the past you knew, that something was up, something was off, something was not as it should be, and rather than challenge that thing and stand up to it and say, hey, what's going on here? I need to deal with this. You allowed it to happen and then later cried victim, cried that, they did it to me, or the world did it to me, or the government did it to me, or the religion did it to me, or the culture did it to me. Somebody did it to you, so that now you're a victim, and now you use that victim. You use that victimization like a badge of honor. You see, I've been victimized, and therefore, I'm not responsible for my life. I get a free pass because, poor me, I'm a victim, and I didn't ask for this, and life just did it to me. And so now I'm disabled, disadvantaged, crippled in some way, emotionally, mentally, physically, financially crippled, or are, helpless in some way, and therefore I'm not responsible. So I don't have to be responsible for my life. And so now, because I'm not responsible, I get to go around blaming everybody else and not being blamed. No blame on me. I'm a good person because I'm a victim, you see. There's my victim badge, right? Take a look in your own life. Is that the deal that you've made? Is that the deal that you've made with your life? That you're going to be a victim? Or will you use that challenge? Take that challenge and embrace it, literally, just like you would embrace a dear friend. You would take that challenge and draw it into yourself and say, this is mine. I did it. I am responsible for my life, and this is a gift. Life, God, the universe, this beloved person has given me to bring out something from within myself that maybe I don't even know is there. To find a deeper strength, a deeper wisdom, a more refined and sophisticated part of my own makeup that I have yet to discover. Do you know how we build muscle? Any of you ever go to the gym? Do you know how you build muscle? You build muscle by putting so much stress on it that it literally breaks down and tears the ligaments and the cells and the molecules on a molecular level that are then those weak ones, the weak muscular molecules, and it forces them to make new ones right away. And they don't wait a week. They don't wait until the next seminar or the next gym session. The instant you injure a muscle by exercising, it begins building new muscle right then and there. It immediately calls upon resources within your body, proteins and enzymes and all kinds of stuff you got stored in your body that rush. That's how come there's so much blood. That's how come you get pumped up, if you will. It rushes all of those resources to the area that is injured, the part that you're working out that day, and causes it to start rebuilding immediately. You could exercise too much. You could tear your muscles down by exercising the same muscle over and over and over and over and over and over and over until you actually have scar tissue, because but your muscles, I'm just talking on a physical level, your muscles build themselves immediately by using them, by straining them, by putting more pressure on them, calling upon them to lift more weight than they normally would. Conversely, also at the same time, you're calling upon your body to convert fat cells, which are stored energy, into muscle cells, protein cells, okay? And that in itself is an entirely other process. I tell you about this on a physical level because now apply that to your mental and emotional and financial states even. Apply that to your life in your relationships. What if the things that you're straining with, the parts of your life that feel too heavy, parts of your life that feel like they're holding you back, what if those were there for the purpose of causing you to be stronger than whatever that barrier is? Because it is a fact of nature, in all of nature, that whatever is suppressed eventually will become stronger than whatever is suppressing it. That's true on a sociological level as well. We're seeing it now with women, right? Today is the age of the woman. Women have the world in their hands. Personally, I'm glad about that. I'm very happy about that. But there has been many millennium of time where men, because of their bigger, stronger, forceful, aggressive, and violent natures, have been able to suppress women and children instead of caring for women and children. I'm not saying all men, okay, of course not. It has been the nature of men to focus on what needs to be done and to be warrior-like and nomadic. And so men have pretty much done what they wanted to for a long time, unless and until they fall in love with a woman and the children that they produce. And this changes the man. This calls upon the man to find resources within himself that he never knew he had. It forces the warrior to become a father, to become a lover, to become a gentleman, in ways that, listen, I don't think there would be gentlemen if there were no women around. Why would there be? Whatever's challenging you in your life is a challenge that I'm calling upon you to examine and embrace and to discover the resources within yourself for your own growth and development and refinement. to become stronger, more sophisticated, and more refined as a human being is what I'm speaking about when I speak about the process of transformation. You take a piece of coal, and if you compress that charcoal and give it enough heat and pressure, it becomes a diamond, okay? And once it becomes a diamond, it can't go back to being a piece of coal, all right? Once a piece of coal is compressed and refined and it becomes a more complex, sophisticated, and refined piece of coal, and we call it a diamond. The same thing happens in your life. When you've had enough intensity, purify all those things that are inaccurate, untrue, impure, basically false about yourself, and come to know who you truly are. It is like the process of transforming a coal into a diamond. It is the same kind of process. All that which is not you is obliged to go away. And what is left is what is truly you, and that is a fine and beautiful thing. So the work that we do at Embrace Growth is about speeding up that process and causing that transformation in the most rapid, safe, and positive environment as we could possibly produce. We're constantly working to refine ourselves and to refine our company and to refine our processes and to become better at producing that result. However, I can tell you that we've been doing this for about 19 years now. My wife and I began doing seminars and workshops together even before we were married, and it's changed a lot. I mean, I've looked back over the old manuals and the old seminars and the old workshops, and we've constantly been growing and expanding and looking for and discovering new and more refined ways of producing this result reliably. Because when people come to our workshops or they come for private sessions, they've basically given us their trust, and they've given us their money, and they've given us their time to cause something to happen in their life that they don't know how to do. And if they did, they would have done it already. And if they did do it by themselves, it might take years and years and cost marriages and real estate and friendships and so much that the cost is too great to bear. And so we've found ways of producing that result in a very rapid and reliable way, not just to sort of pump you up and make you feel good and then you go back to being the way you used to be but in a way that is permanent and reliable, so that this transformation, once it takes place, you realize that you're different and that you have no desire to go back to the way you used to be. In fact, you couldn't. I suppose you could if you want to, but you'd really have to try. If you lost a bunch of weight and you suddenly became beautiful and full of energy and very successful and started making good money and had everybody's admiration and stuff, if you decided, nah, I'm going to go back to being a broke, fat slob again and mess my life up, you could, but why would you? So it's pretty reliable in that sense that most people don't feel like or don't have the inclination to go back to the old way of being. I'm going to go ahead and take some of the questions, answer some of the questions that have been text and emailed in over time. A lot of them have to do with relationships and how to best manage relationships. Of course, you know, I actually feel bad for the ladies because they're the ones that are always in charge of the relationships, and I don't feel bad for them. I would rather they be in charge of the relationships than the men for a lot of reasons, but mainly because they're more concerned about it. They have a biological imperative as well as a natural tendency and the talents to manage a relationship. One of the questions is, how do men become ready, or how do men get ready to be married? And the truth is, I don't know if there's anything that prepares you for marriage, because no matter how much you prepare for marriage, it doesn't turn out exactly like that anyhow. So I think the best way to get ready for marriage is just to get married and discover how best to manage yourself. I'm going to say it this way. Men get ready when they're done with their polygamous activity. Men are naturally polygamous, meaning multiple partners. That's just inborn into a man's nature genetically. They feel this need or this compulsion, and if they get married before they have found this part of themselves or expressed them part of themselves, then unless they are already an extremely disciplined person, there will be a tendency to keep looking about at other women and to maybe have a yearning to go outside the marriage to complete that thing. So I don't think men should be married before they've outgrown or at least expressed thoroughly this tendency to want to sleep around. Okay? That's as simple as I can put it. That's how men get ready for marriage, is they become successful at multiple relationships. And once they sort of are satisfied about that part of themselves and they feel confident about that, then they're ready to, they naturally will become ready to find a woman that they would like to share their life with. And they'll start looking for that woman. They'll start interviewing candidates, whether they realize that's what they're doing or not. And they will be looking for a woman to share their life with. There's another thing that men need to do before they get married, and that is that they need to be successful. Not just successful with women, but successful in their life, so that they have a sufficient amount of resources, whether it's money or property or the potential to make money, but they have to have a sufficient amount of resources to not only be satisfied for themselves, but to generously share that with their wife and whatever children they may have. He needs to have established himself as far as his reputation and as far as his career or job is concerned, so that he feels quite sure that he can support another person. Now, in this day and age, women are perfectly capable of not only supporting themselves, but very often they make more money than men do. While that may be against the natural, by natural I mean inborn genetic compulsion, if you will, or tendency for men to provide and protect women and children. Men have a natural tendency to want to provide and protect women and children, and provide for and to protect. And I believe that women have a natural tendency to want to feel taken care of, either financially or emotionally, but she needs to feel that the man would devote his time and money and energy to their relationship and take care of her. She needs to feel that he's not going to drop her and go do something else or someone else. And that is an important emotional component of a woman feeling loved, is that she feels taken care of. So if a man is not ready to take care of a woman, then no matter what he says, he's not ready. He's not a candidate for marriage. So how does he get ready? Again, how does he get ready? He becomes successful both in his, nomadic and polygamous urge to conquer new territory by, going with different women, and by satisfying himself that he has more than enough money and time and energy for himself and to share with others, meaning his wife and children and family and whatever else that she might bring along, like in-laws or anything else that she might come up with, that he would also feel responsible to take care of. That's what I have to say about men getting married, being ready to get married. They need to be able to communicate. They need to have the ability to have longevity, meaning they need to stay with stuff. Right? If it's a guy that's never had a job for more than a year or two, that's pretty much how he's going to be with you as a woman. You want to find a guy that has done something and stayed with it. Otherwise, he probably won't be able to stay with a marriage. And the opposite of that question is, how can you say that a woman is ready for marriage? A woman is ready for marriage. She is mature enough to learn that, it is by honoring herself and loving herself more than she loves any man. And by loving herself, I don't mean it in that self-involved, egotistical, self-absorbed kind of way. I mean it in a way in which she will not sell out her values. She will not sell out her virtue. She will, you know what I mean by sell out? In other words, take the highest price, okay? In other words, she will not move on those things that she considers to be her values and her virtue and her morality and her ethics. She will not compromise on that, and she will only open her heart and her body to a man who is wise enough and strong enough to take her deeper into the existence and the meaning of life than she could possibly go on her own. When you will only open your heart to a man of that nature, then and only then can that man appear. That man cannot appear as long as you are opening your heart to people who are not qualified for marriage in the first place. He can't find you because you're busy being available to lesser men. Okay, so a woman gets ready for marriage by deciding for herself that she is only going to open her heart and sleep with men who are a man who is going to be her partner for life, and then she makes up her mind that that's what she's going to do, and then she finds that guy will show up. He can show up only then. What's the best age to have kids? There's another question. I think it depends a lot. It's a very open question, because the right age for one person would not be the right age for another. But generally speaking, and I can only point to statistics. Statistically, the marriages that survive the longest, meaning there's no divorce and they last more than 10 or 15 years and they have successful children and so forth, in this age group, between 27 and 34, where both partners have at least some college education. Now, I didn't make that up. I just read it. It was statistics. What are the most successful age groups and educational levels? 27 to 34 works best if the man is at least 2 or 3 years older than the woman. Both partners have at least some college education, okay, some form of higher education. It doesn't have to be college. It could be a trade school. It could be a lot of things, but something that they have applied themselves to for a prolonged period and received recognition for and done so successfully, okay? Is love something that we need to learn about, or is it just there naturally? Well, both are true. It's not an either or, even though it's an either or question, it's not an either or answer. Yes, love is already there naturally. And I will say it this way: just as a fish does not know water and a bird does not know the air, human beings do not know that they are swimming in an ocean of love at all times. It's unnoticeable to you. Love is always there. Love is always there in every interaction at all the time. It's closer to you than your own shirt. It's closer to you than your skin. It's always been there. It's always available. We as human beings are we're born with a natural tendency to say us and them, okay? That is a natural defense thing that is more related to our animal survival instinct. You and I, as human beings, as wonderful and lovely and as enlightening as we are born with an animal instinct that will defend yourself even if it means harming another, okay? Even though we may experience love, even though love is a natural expression of who we truly are, we are inborn with the, and it's a good thing. I mean, don't think it's a bad thing. It's very good. It's why you're still alive. Instinct for saying, where we view those who are with us, that is, those who share food with us, who share warmth and contact, common language, all of those things which are the same with us. Those people that are our tribe or our family are those that we see as being like us, we tend to have an affinity for. What is alike tends to like each other. So we have an affinity for those like us, and all of those who are not like us, who dress different, look different, talk different, have a different color skin or different eyes or something, we naturally tend to say them. That's them, and we're us. There's us, and then there's all those not us out there in the world, okay? Now, I'm laughing a lot these days. I mean, I'm kind of laughing and crying at the same time. Everybody's talking about racism and prejudice and all this stuff like they're not. And, listen, you are too. Everybody's racist and prejudiced. You like the people in your tribe better than you like people that are not in your tribe. You feel closer and safer with people who are like you, that look like you, and speak your language than you do with other people, okay? Any other people, all right? So it's complete foolishness to say that, oh, no, you're free from all prejudice. No, you're not. I promise you. If they said everybody with this color of skin over here and everybody with that color of skin over here or else, right? You would go with the people like you. You're not going to go with some people that are not like you and say, no, I'm with those guys. No, you wouldn't. All right? You just wouldn't. It's just natural. We recognize those who are like us. We tend to like them more, to feel safer with them. Even if we are mad at them, we still feel safer with them than we do with people who are different than us. Love is always there. And, you know, I realized that I just sort of went on a side point, but prejudice is always there too, okay? We see people as us and them, and love is always there, and we need to learn about it? Yeah, we do need to learn about it. There's different kinds of love. There is parental love. There is the love of a parent towards a child, which is a superior to an inferior, okay? And don't pretend that we're all the same, because we're not. Okay, everybody says, oh, that's wrong to say that a parent is superior to a child. No, it's not. They can walk, talk, eat, drive cars, balance their checkbook. A child can't even feed itself. They are a superior being for a long and protracted period of time. And without their care and protection, that child will die. Okay, so it is a superior to an inferior, and it is a parental love that is non-sexual. It's not exactly the same as agape love. I'll talk about agape love in a minute. Agape love is unconditional love, but it is pretty much unconditional. That child can do just about anything, and the parent will keep on loving it, okay? And I know that we all say, oh, I hate that kid, but, you know, we get mad or something like that, but we would kill anybody that tried to harm it. Okay, so it's pretty unconditional. We would give our life for our children. First level of love that we begin to know and experience is this unconditional love. Now, this is interesting because as a child, that is our first experience of love, and its connectedness, and it has warmth, and it has softness, and it has love and protection, hopefully for you. And of course, there are those parents that do not give their child that experience, and some of us have had that as well. But in the natural order of things, a parent would love their child and protect it and give it warm, soft, fuzzy, nice feelings. The child sort of grows up expecting that now, as if, well, I just showed up and they all love me and take care of me and feed me and stuff, clean up my mess and put up with me. So part of growing up is to realize, no, there's a time in life in which love is not always unconditional. So there's parental love, and then there's what we call filial love, frère, the love of our peers. In other words, it's more the people that are on the same level as us, like friends, brothers and sisters, co-workers. In other words, a love amongst equals. That love, too, is non-erotic. You may have feelings or sexual feelings towards someone, but it doesn't mean that if that is expressed, that changes the love altogether, okay? So we're talking about, again, a platonic or non-sexual love amongst equals, brothers to sisters and so forth. And children to parents is also a part of that parental love, where children love their parents. Then you get to another level that we call erotic love, which is love that has romantic feelings and could exchange body fluids. In other words, it's sexual love, it's erotic love. That love changes everything. It's no longer safe, you see, because you've opened yourself physically, you've had an intimate connection. You could feel threatened now. As a woman or as a man, you could feel somehow so vulnerable, so connected, and so needing that it uncovers a whole nother level of yours that is on a deep physiological, psychological, emotional, and spiritual level that those non-sexual loves did not have. This is where everybody gets in trouble, right? Because we don't know how to deal with that. So yes, the answer to this question is you need to learn about love. You need to learn what works and doesn't work. Now, I'll speak only briefly about another kind of love which most of us will never experience, but we pretend that we do. And that is agape love. Agape love, universal, unconditional love, where it is a love of humanity for humanity's sake, for the sake of all mankind, for the sake of what it is to be human. It is a love that surpasses all that is wanting and needing and sexual and sensual, and encompasses all of that and embraces it as and we've come to know ourselves not as just an individual like us and them anymore, or me and others, but we become We come to see ourselves as part of all of it and to embrace all of humanity as an expression of ourselves. In other words, we come to know ourselves in every human being that we meet. We begin to see that we're like them, good or bad, beautiful or horrible. We're like all of them. And we embrace that, and we love it for what it is. And that is a level of loving that takes a certain awakening and transformation that most people, frankly, will never have. Okay, most people will live their entire life experiencing those other kinds of love, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But I want to go back to the erotic love, the love of another that involves sensuality, sexuality, and childbirth, and sharing of resources and protection and longevity into the future that creates a future for not only yourself but for your family, for your tribe, for the community, and for the world at large. Because all of human nature, all of the survival of this species we call humanity depends upon that being successful. It depends upon that being successful. Without long-term committed relationships that involve sexuality and childbirth, there is no future for humanity. Without an orderly progression of those relationships into a long-term future that involves both self-sacrifice but also self-fulfillment, that involves discipline and rigor on the one hand, and complete freedom and full self-expression on the other. It involves sexuality, but it also involves spirituality. And so people can actually learn to love on a level that surpasses just the physical, attraction and the hormonal impulse to have sex with somebody or to merge with somebody emotionally so that, you say we are one together and all of that romantic stuff, which is fine. It's just that it's pointing in another direction. It's pointing in a direction that is greater than you and your needs and your wants and desires. It's pointing in a direction in which there is a fulfillment that I will say touches the face of God, that touches the heart of all humanity. With just as within each apple seed, there is an entire apple tree with the leaves and the branches and the roots and the apples. Contained in that seed is the potential of all future apples, or an infinite amount of future apples, if you will. Okay? So contained in each human being, there is the potential to awaken all of humanity and to touch the lives of everyone. Just like that apple seed will never know what will become of its future, you or I have no idea of all the lives we could possibly touch today and every day. By living your life to its fullest possible potential, you have the potential of touching tens of thousands and millions of lives throughout history for time immemorial, for time to come. Okay? You and I, today and every day, live in a future that was created by very committed individuals sometimes. Every time you turn on a light, right? Every time you turn on a light bulb, you are living inside of a future created by a guy named Thomas Edison that invented the light bulb. Every time you use a telephone, you're living inside of a future created by a guy named Alexander Graham Bell. Every time so many things happen, we are living the future. Our lives are touched and fulfilled every single day by people who died long ago and who will never know us, because they stayed committed to something, they stayed true to something, they didn't give up on something. And they had a vision that carried them forward, even though, as you well know, if you've studied any kind of history, almost all of those people were persecuted or in some way people have set out against them to try to stop them, destroy them, block them, keep them from fulfilling their vision, or in some way interrupt their pattern. So if you have a vision that's big enough to change the world, you will naturally encounter obstacles, and some of those obstacles may even come in the form of the people who say they love you. Some of the obstacles that might stop you from growing, that might hold you back or keep you back, might come dressed as the perfect man or the perfect woman who, you know, wants you for themselves, wants you for their future, wants you for their self-expression. So the question is very simple, but the answer is very deep. Is there something that we need to learn about love? Yes. Is it just there naturally? Yes. So moving on to other questions. When a man is going on a date with a woman for a long-term committed relationship, for the first couple of dates, what should he be talking about? Should he be asking questions or giving information about himself? How to manage a conversation as a man on a date? I don't think men should necessarily manage the conversation. I think they should cooperate and that they should be forthright and forthcoming. I believe the purpose of dating in the first place is to investigate and sharpen and develop the social skills necessary to be in communication with and manage one's self inside of a larger conversation with the opposite sex. So I realize that's a long sentence. Dating is about sharpening your social skills. It's about learning to talk. If you have a tendency to be clumsy or awkward in that situation, it's about learning to step up and embrace that awkwardness. And sometimes it's as simple as saying, you know, I feel awfully awkward. I don't quite know how to talk to you sometimes, but I really care about you, and I want you to like me, and I like you, and, you know, let's talk. You know, what's interesting? You know, sometimes you just have to address the thing that's actually stopping you. It's just simply being authentic and real about the things that could be stopping you. I think when people go on a date for the first time, they're so interested in trying to be cool, to try to look like they've got it all together, like they don't need anything, like, you know, this is no big deal to me. But in fact, they're very nervous about it and they feel strange about it or awkward or upset or any number of things. So should a man be asking questions or giving information about himself? Both. And you may find that sometimes men don't ask questions, okay? Maybe because he feels awkward. It may be a woman doesn't ask questions. I think you ought to ask as many questions as you want without being what we call an interrogator, right? Nobody wants to feel like they're being interviewed or interrogated to see if they qualify for the next date. That's like rude. Nobody wants to feel that. And so, no, you shouldn't ask so many questions that it puts the person on defense. But, you know, finding out what they like, what they are like, observing how they walk, talk, sit, eat, treat the waiter or the waitress or the valet or anybody else that may be serving you. How do people treat those people? You know, those are the things. I say more importantly, especially when it comes to men, men speak through their actions. Listen more to what they are doing than to what they're saying. You know, they might say whatever they need to say to sort of try to get close to you or to score or to make it with you in some way, or to be successful in some way. But watch what they do. Watch how they act. Watch how they behave. That's going to tell you a lot more, okay? Because there are just certain ways that people be that you can't disguise the true nature of them. Is there such a thing that men and women should have the same level of energy to be able to connect and start a relationship? I don't know. The same level of energy is a pretty open to interpretation question. My wife and I have very different levels of energy. Anybody that knows my wife, Dr. Azita Sayan, knows that she's very high energy. She's always going and going. It's almost a joke amongst all of us at Embrace Growth and that know her through the seminars and the workshops. She can go and go and go and go and go and go. And then a little bit of sleep, a little bit of food, and then she's back up. Everybody else is still tired from the last time, but she just somehow finds herself being able to go, 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 go. What probably nobody but me knows is that when she finally does get tired, she shuts down completely. which is actually a very efficient energy system. I mean, if I were a mechanic and she was a robot, I know I'm talking about my wife. I don't mean to diminish that in any way at all, but I mean, if you wanted to engineer someone that would go 100% all the time and then shut down, recharge themselves, and then go 100% all the time and then shut down and recharge themselves, that would be a pretty good design. So I have a great deal of appreciation for her. My energy is different. I have a very sort of deeper kind of quiet energy that is replenished on an ongoing basis. So I have developed a way through martial arts and qigong and meditation to be replenishing myself as I'm using the energy. So I'm also resting and recharging at the same time I'm using my energy, and then if I need to go 100%, I can turn on all batteries and move forward and have a great deal of energy, and then I rest like everybody else, probably for shorter periods of time. I'm more interested in the longevity, in other words, lasting, having my energy last a long period of time, instead of being able to do full force at spurts, in spurts and then stop, full force and then stop. That's just my level of energy. And so in answer to this question, is it important for people to have the same level of energy or something like that in order to be able to connect? No. I think what's more important is that you know yourself, and that you know your own energetic needs. And yeah, do you need to be able to rise to meet someone's energy, like in a conversation? If somebody's being humorous, are you able to match that energy with also playfulness and being fun and energetic in that way? If they're being serious, are you able to match that energy so that they don't feel like they're being serious, but you're joking around? So I think that what you're addressing, at least I'm interpreting what you're addressing when you say the same level of energy, I'm talking about what I call rapport. Rapport means things that are like tend to be things that are like each other tend to like each other. Okay, if you're like someone else, then they tend to like you, and you tend to like them. That is a way of saying if somebody is being restful and you're being all energetic and loud and everything like that, they may not like you, and you may not like them because you're just on a different level of energy. If somebody is being funny and you're just being serious, can you see that there would be a lack of rapport? A lack of rapport will always cause a break in belonging, a break in communication, and therefore a break in affinity. The affinity being that tendency to like each other. So you want to be able to match someone's energy on the level that they're on. It doesn't mean you have to have the same amount of energy, but resting when resting, dancing when dancing, laughing when laughing. In other words, don't be phony about it, but you're searching for rapport. And inside of rapport, anything is possible. Now I have a call, and this person has waited till the last 3 minutes of my show. I'm going to see if I can help you. Hello, this is Gregory. You're live on the air, and I've only got a few minutes left.
Hi,
how are you?
Sorry, I think I...
Yeah. So how can I help you?
But I had a quick question, and I'm going to try to be really quick. So I have a boyfriend, and we've been together for about 8 months, and I've also known him from before. We actually dated twice in the past. And from the initiation of the relationship, I mentioned to him very clearly that I want to get married, and this is the reason we are going to have a relationship. Recently, he's been a little bit doubtful, and we had another serious conversation about a month ago, and he's like, I don't know if I want to ever I want to be with someone for a lifetime, but I don't know if I do actually want to get married or it's just a piece of paper. So I feel like he's still on the fence.
Okay, so he's not qualified. You told him straight up, I'm dating for marriage. He agreed to that, and now he's reneging on that deal, saying, oh, I don't know. The words you said are correct, are accurate. He said, I don't know if I want to be with someone for the rest of my life. Did he say someone, or did he say you?
He said I want to be with someone for the rest of my life.
Someone is a disconnected word. It's a disassociation. He didn't say, I don't know if I want to be with you for the rest of my life. He said, someone, some unknown one. That's a disassociation. Do you understand? So he stepped back from being related to you and addressed it as if he was relating to any old one that came along called someone. So he disassociated from you and started speaking to you as if it wasn't you anymore, like you're another one. You understand?
Yeah.
So he put a verbal barrier. He said, I don't know if I want to be married to someone for the rest of my life. That means he's not qualified to be married. A person who is qualified to be married is not only looking for someone, they're looking for a specific person. So they're dating you, they're interviewing you, they're checking you out to see if you are that one. Do you understand?
Right.
So they've already narrowed it down from everybody to this one, or maybe 2 or 3. It's possible a guy could have 2 or 3 different persons that he's interested in. That's, you know, you could have 2 or 3 guys you're interested in.
Yes, but he's very interested, like we're dating exclusively right now. And
yeah, but he's not dating for marriage and you are.
I am, but I think he's very confused. He doesn't know if he wants to or not.
How old is he?
He asked me to give him some time.
Okay, give him a lot of time. Give him as much time as you want. Say you have as much time as you want. In the meantime, I'm interested in being married. I would like to be married to you. But if you're not sure about it, then you should take all the time you want. And I'm going to go ahead and continue dating for marriage. And if I'm available when you've come to your conclusion as to whether or not you want to marry me, if I'm available, give me a call.
Oh.
But in the meantime, there's not going to be any more calling, texting, staying up all night, sex, kissing, hugging, holding hands. There's not going to be any of that anymore, okay?
Okay.
Right? That's reserved for the guy that I might marry. That's not you. You said you don't know. So when you figure it out, give me a call. If I'm still available, we'll talk about it. You want to pull yourself back and let him see what that feels like, first of all, and deal with that you're not just somebody that will sell out your value. You said from the beginning, I'm dating for marriage. Now, if you keep dating, even though he said, I don't think so, then you've sold out. You've sold out for security. You've sold out for whatever. But you've now told him, oh, you know that thing I said about wanting to be married? That's okay. I'll date you anyhow. Right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Don't do that.
Thank you so much. That's
okay?
a very good answer.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Have a good day.
Yep.
در کارگاه‌های آموزشی بانوان به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان با دستیابی به اهمیت و ارزش واقعی خود، قدرت زنانگی و آرامش خود را بازیابید. محیطی مناسب و هیجان انگیز برای رشد و شکوفایی عشق، ازدواج و خانواده خلق کنید. زنی شاد باشید، قلب مردان را بشناسید و آنها را درک کنید. کارگاه آموزشی بانوان، ایروان 7 تا 9 فوریه مصادف با 18 تا 20 بهمن، همبورگ 26 تا 28 آپریل. لطفاً جهت برخورداری از تخفیف ویژه برای کارگاه‌های خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان در ایروان ارمنستان با دفتر امبرس گرو تماس بگیرید. 310 460 2600. آنچه نوجوانان در کارگاه آموزشی امبریس گروت می آموزند، مسئولیت، بها و ارزش کلام و اعتبار است. با خلق شور و هیجان برای موفقیتی شرافتمندانه، آینده ای را بر بنیادی قوی از ارزش‌ها و ایدئال‌ها بنا می‌کنیم تا راهنمای آنان در زندگی باشند. کارگاه آموزشی نوجوانان در ایروان ارمنستان 6 و 7 آگوست مصادف با 15 و 16 مرداد. لطفاً جهت برخورداری از تخفیف ویژه برای کارگاه‌های خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان در ایروان ارمنستان با دفتر امبریس گروت تماس بگیرید. 310 460 2600.
کانال یوتیوب دکتر آزیتا سایان جایی است که جواب تمامی سوالات خود را در مورد رابطه در سریع‌ترین و آسان‌ترین راه ممکن پیدا خواهید کرد. در صورت تمایل ویدیو را لایک و نظرات خود را در قسمت کامنت وارد کنید. سوالات خود را از طریق شبکه‌های اجتماعی و یا از طریق تماس تلفنی در طول برنامه زنده مطرح کنید و جواب بگیرید. در کانال یوتیوب ما سابسکرایب کنید و از آخرین ویدیوهای جدید و زمان پخش برنامه‌های زنده آگاه شوید. تازه ترین ویدیوهای دکتر آزیتا سایان و کلیپ های مورد علاقه تان از دنیای عشق را تماشا کنید. صفحه رسمی یوتیوب دکتر آزیتا سایان youtube.com/Dr. Azita Sayan.
یک مرد منحصر به فرد، مسلط، متمرکز، قابل اعتماد و رضایتمند. چنین مردی باشید. به ما در مسیر رسیدن به قلب مردانگی بپیوندید و خود برترتان را درون خود بیابید. کارگاه شرافت، عزت کلام و مهارت به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان، ایروان ارمنستان 9 تا 11 آگوست مصادف با 18 تا 20 مرداد، تورنتو 21 تا 23 سپتامبر، همبورگ 19 تا 21 اکتبر، لس آنجلس 2 تا 4 نوامبر. لطفاً جهت برخورداری از تخفیف ویژه برای کارگاه‌های خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان در ایروان ارمنستان با دفتر امبریس گروت تماس بگیرید. همین امروز ثبت نام کنید و شاهد تحول زندگیتان باشید. اپلیکیشن امبریس گروت با ساختن اکانت شخصی شما می توانید وارد پروفایل خود شده و تنظیمات آن را تغییر دهید. به تمامی رویدادها و محصولات دسترسی داشته باشید. با چند کلیک برای سمینارها و کارگاه‌ها ثبت نام کنید و یا وقت مشاوره خود را رزرو نمایید. اپلیکیشن امبریس گروت را امروز از اپ استور دانلود کنید و به خانواده جهانی امبریس گروت بپیوندید. اپلیکیشن امبریس گروت همکنون در اپ استور. با ساختن اکانت شخصی شما می توانید پروفایل خود را مدیریت و زبان مورد نظر خود را بین فارسی و انگلیسی انتخاب کنید. وقت مشاوره خود را رزرو نمایید. محصولات از جمله CD، DVD و کتاب‌ها را خریداری و دانلود نمایید و یا برای کارگاه‌ها و سمینارها نام‌نویسی کنید. همچنین شما می توانید به برنامه‌های تلویزیونی و رادیویی دکتر سایان و یا آقای مورگن به صورت رایگان دسترسی داشته باشید. اپلیکیشن امبریس گروت را امروز از اپ استور دانلود کنید.
Embrace Growth has a new home online where you can easily register for workshops and events, order from the online store, and be part of the worldwide community of Embrace Growth graduates. You'll be able to see Dr. Azita Sayan and Mr. Gregory Morgan in your favorite seminars. Visit us today at embracegrowth.com.
در کارگاه‌های آموزشی بانوان به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان با دستیابی به اهمیت و ارزش واقعی خود، قدرت زنانگی و آرامش خود را بازیابید. محیطی مناسب و هیجان انگیز برای رشد و شکوفایی عشق، ازدواج و خانواده خلق کنید. زنی شاد باشید، قلب مردان را بشناسید و آنها را درک کنید. کارگاه آموزشی بانوان، ایروان 7 تا 9 فوریه مصادف با 18 تا 20 بهمن، همبورگ 26 تا 28 آپریل، لطفاً جهت برخورداری از تخفیف ویژه برای کارگاه‌های خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان در ایروان ارمنستان با دفتر امبریس گروت تماس بگیرید. 310 460 2600